Hey guys, how's it going? DUJ2 here, and welcome back to Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key while it's still Unchained Key. And this is a Let's Talk. This is a Let's Talk about Illustrated Kh2 Kairi. Alright, I know a lot of people call her Tairi. I like it. But I'm going to try and call her Illustrated Kh2 Kairi. So I know that I've never, well, actually I have talked about medals that aren't exactly in the game yet, but usually I wait until they're actually released so we can actually take a look at them. And apart from that one time when we did that podcast about the World of Final Fantasy medals that weren't even announced for the global version yet, this is going to be something different. But the reason why I want to do this, the reason why I want to go a little in depth on this is because of what it means to our current global game. Now, for those of you who haven't seen my other video, we got this tweet last night. Illustrated Kh2 Kairi will arrive on Thursday. She restores HP and SP attack gauges, lowers PSM defense and deals damage, and raises PSM strength. Okay, so if you guys are out there watching, you may have heard about a lot of people talking about Kairi. There are 3 Kairis in the game that are very relevant. Illustrated Kairi is the first one, and I'll show you guys her in a second. So Illustrated Kairi was the first medal that we got a while back, and it was the first big game changer in the sense of the strength up. Let me see if I can't find her, and we'll talk a little. Okay, so here she is. So Illustrated Kairi, Illustrated Kairi raises strength by 3 tiers for 1 turn. So as you know, in our current global gaming in Unchained Key, 3 is the max we can do. So we can do +3 general defense, 3 down general defense on the enemy, +3 attribute strength, and +3. Can we do? Yeah, we can do attribute defense too, can't we? Huh? And attribute defense down on the enemy. So it's up to 3. So 3 is the max we can do right now in our game. And there's several Kairi. So this is the first one. This was Illustrated Kairi, which is the first one. And you know what? I'm going to completely admit, when she first came out, I was, when she was announced, I was completely like, you know what? I don't need her. I can use Puglet. I can use Rax. I'm fine. I used her. I used her for a very long time until we got, what's his name? Sebastian came out, and now we have Illustrated Belle and Beast. We're not going to talk about them. We're going to talk about, as I said, Illustrated Kh2 Kairi. Now, let me, and again, okay, there's another one, 0.2 Kairi. We're not going to talk about 0.2 Kairi. 0.2 Kairi, we're not going to compare it either. 0.2 Kairi is only in JP right now in the Union Cross. We don't know when we're going to be getting any of that. So, and the reason why I'm also talking about Illustrated Kh2 Kairi today is because she is coming. I mean, without a doubt, 100%, we are getting her Thursday. Well, hopefully. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what they're going to do. But let me explain. So the tweet says, she restores HP and SP attack gauges. Okay, so she restores your health and she restores your SP. So she's like, it's like she has a built-in APP. Lowers PSM defense, which is what's it called? Oh, power. Yeah, I actually spent quite some time before looking up PSM. I was like, what is PSM? Power, speed, magic. Defense and deals damage and raises PSM strength. Okay, so it lowers the defense of the enemy and it raises your strength. So this is attribute. Okay, so attribute, it raises your attribute strength and lowers your enemy's attribute defense. So if this sounds a little familiar, it's because we do have a medal that is very important right now in the game, which is Jack and Sally. And Jack and Sally does the same thing. Jack and Sally raises your strength of your attribute, of all attributes, and lowers the defense of the enemy. Now, very important to look at here that Jack and Sally last for 2 turns. Okay, Jack and Sally last for 2 turns and cost 2. Okay, so we're good so far on that. And as we all know, Jack and Sally is something that a lot of people use. They're awesome. Okay, so let's compare, because this is kind of the only way we compare it. And I will leave a link to this in the description, but I'm going to read right now what Illustrated Kairi Kh2 does in JP right now. This is what she does. She restores 10 gauges. 10 gauges of SP. That is, wow. Greatly recovers HP, raises strength of all attributes by 1 tier for 1 turn, lowers defense of all attributes of all targets by 1 tier for 1 turn, and inflicts a fixed amount of damage regardless of defense. So she is an attributeless, no, not really an attributeless medal. It's kind of like, well, it's a fixed damage. So she's gonna do a damage no matter what. And the only thing that's gonna affect her damage is going to be her slot in your Keyblade, whatever you do to multiply her. Okay, so that's the only thing that's going to affect her damage. Okay, she is not like the World of Final Fantasy medals. She's just a fixed damage dealer like the original Beast. Okay, and she is magic like we see here, and she costs 0 gauges. All right, also she is tier 5 and she targets all. All right, so let's compare that, what I just read, to what we know of the tweet. Okay, so we know that here the tweet says she restores HP and SP attack gauges. Okay, so yes, the JP version excuse me, the JP version restores, greatly recovers HP and restores 10 gauges. All right, so that's what we're looking at. When a lot of people say, oh, she's going to be nerfed, she's not going to be nerfed. Personally, for me, I hope she's not. I will tell you guys right now, I really, really hope she is not nerfed at all. I hope she is released exactly the same. She would be pretty awesome. So she restores 10 gauges. They're not telling us here how much she restores. I'm hoping she restores 10 gauges. She lowers PSM defense and deals damage and raises PSM strength. Okay, so that is lowers defense of all attributes by 1 of all targets by 1 tier for 1 turn, and raises strength of all attributes by 1 tier for 1 turn. So here it doesn't tell us that it lasts the entire turn. Again, I hope it does. I really hope it does, because if it is nerfed, they could lower the SP attack gauges that it recovers. They could also lower how many turns it lasts, or how many attacks it lasts, I guess. And the amount of damage, it doesn't say here if it's a fixed amount of damage. It just says it deals damage. Okay, so that's all the comparisons we can make here. What we're not told here is what tier she is. Hopefully she's tier 5. We're not told if she attacks all, and we're not told if she costs 0 gauges. Okay, so come Thursday, of course, guys, I'll be live, I'll be streaming. We're gonna take a look when she comes out. Hopefully we get a tweet on Wednesday night, kind of telling us, hey, you know, this is kind of what you're going to be expecting. But if you guys here, to be perfectly honest, if I look at right now what Illustrated Kairi does in the JP version, I think, you know what, she will be extremely powerful if she is brought exactly the same to our game. But it's fair. How much we've progressed right now, especially the cost of metals that we're starting to use, restoring 10 SP gauges would be actually pretty cool. It would be pretty awesome. So to be perfectly honest, I would not be mad at all if she is released in the exact same way. Not going to be mad, not going to lie to you guys. I will be actually very grateful if she does. If she is nerfed, honestly, for me personally, I wouldn't. I would like her to remain. I would like her to remain attacks all. Okay, so that way it's comparable to Jack and Sally. So because of the progression of the game where we are right now, we've progressed to a certain point right now where Jack and Sally is still very relevant, but you're kind of having to have a gilded Jack and Sally at this point. And yes, I am very sad that I did not gild my Jack and Sally, but I'm still hopeful. I'm still hopeful. You guys know why I'm hopeful. But to make her better than Jack and Sally, she needs to remain at least 1 cost. Okay, even 2 costs, but she needs. Well, the thing with the gauge restores is they most of the time cost 0, don't they? So if she's going to restore SP, she should still cost 0. So I'm hoping that that is a logical conclusion they're going to come to. For me personally, I would love to see her restore 10 gauges. That would be wonderful. I could run some amazing stuff in my Keyblades. If she doesn't do that, restore 5. Restoring 5 is still more than, let's say, Minnie and Daisy, and more than Chip and Dale. So it's still enough to make her very relevant for me personally. I really want her to see her last an entire turn, both for the attribute up and attribute down of the enemy. I really think that's very important. And tier 5. Unless you're going to have her guilted, for me personally, having her tier 5 or tier 4 doesn't really matter that much. Again, I would love to see her tier 5. I would love to see her exactly the same. But if she's tier 4, I'm not going to be mad. And that's pretty much it. That's pretty much it in the comparisons of that. And also comparing her to Jack and Sally. The only thing, and I'm going to say this, the only thing that Jack and Sally does that maintains Jack and Sally relevant, and I'm going to say this right now, the only reason why you might see me still use Jack and Sally is because Jack and Sally is going to last 2 turns. So, running, also very important, this Kairi, there you go. This Kairi does not come, oops, I unlocked that one. This Kairi does not come to replace the other Kairi. They have completely different, or Illustrated Belle and Beast or Sebastian. They're not going to replace it. So if you're thinking, oh, finally I get to have this Kairi, so I don't need this Kairi or Illustrated Belle and Beast or Sebastian. Totally different things. The Illustrated Kairi, Sebastian, or Illustrated Belle and Beast, those increase general attack. So your general attack is going to go up 3. Illustrated Kh2 Kairi is an attribute medal. Attribute medal with restoring SP, which is wow, just it's amazing. It's an amazing medal. But to be perfectly honest, I really want to see her. I really want to see her come exactly the same. And like I said, for a lot of people who are out there who are still using Jack and Sally, or for people who don't have Jack and Sally, yes, she is a, again, if she comes exactly the same, or even if they lower the gauges restored, even if they make her cost 1 or or 2 or whatever, even if they take her to tier 4, she is still going to be better than Jack and Sally. If you have a gilded Jack and Sally, of course your Jack and Sally is going to do more damage. So you could even run her and Jack and Sally together, because you're going to just stack up the attributes. Okay, so that's that if comparing the medals. That's the comparison of the medals. That's where, again, this is the only medal you can kind of compare her to. But again, if she comes exactly the same, she will be incredibly powerful. But again, if you have, for all those people out there who have a gilded Jack and Sally, or for people who are already using our Jack and Sally, and if you do manage to pull one of these Illustrated Kh2 Kairis and they come exactly the same, it's still a pretty good strategy to use both of them. I mean, I personally think that I may do that in certain instances. Now, let's talk about how we can get her. We don't know. Okay, the tweet doesn't tell us anything. All it says is she's coming. It would be amazing if we all woke up Thursday morning and there's a free one in our inboxes. I know a lot of people have been saying that, hey, do you think that's going to do? I have no clue, but it would be awesome. It would be really awesome if they were like, hey, here you go. Here's one for everyone. If not, what we've seen lately is the EMCs with no mercy pull. If that's the case and they make her like this, to be perfectly honest, I do want her. If she, the only reason, okay, the only thing that might make her not worth it to me is if they make her restore like 1 or 2 SP, and if they make the attribute up and down only last a couple of turns. That's going to be the only reason. Even if they make it last to 3 turns, I could still justify using it, but it's not really going to help me with the friend medal. because of course I'd run her on the third slot. If they that would be the worst part. The worst part is if they really reduce how much she restores in SP, and if they make her not last an entire turn. That's when you guys might see me be like, you know what, I really don't know if I'm going to go for this, because it will be very difficult to justify using her then and pulling for her. The other thing is, if they are going to make her as difficult to get as the only one I can compare it to right now is World of Final Fantasy Sora. World of Final Fantasy Sora was a medal that many people chased, including myself, for many pulls, and we didn't get anywhere. We just did not get there's very few people who have him, even less people who have him guilted, even less people who have the guilted boosted one. It was an incredibly rare medal to get, but amazing, you know. So there's a lot of reasons why she might not be amazing, but she could be. That's what I'm saying, guys. She could be amazing. Finally, if we're going to continue comparing, I believe people have said that she was released as a 5 Mercy pull in JP. Release as a 5 Mercy pull would be wonderful for us. Or if they release her in a no Mercy pull, I guess it'll just have to be how many people actually pull for, you know, how many. I don't know. I don't know, guys. And the final thing I'm going to say right now is this our anniversary banner? Okay. Is this tweet announcing our anniversary banner? Is this going to be it? Is there no other banner going to show up? Is this going to be the only banner that we're going to have available? And if it is, I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Again, we have no clue what's going on, guys. We have no communication here. We have no clue. All we know is that there is going to be an anniversary event. We do know that Kairi is coming. We don't know when, and I checked and rechecked and asked a bunch of people. We don't know when Union Cross is coming for Global. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, we'll just wait, be patient. That's fine and all. But JP did get announced about a month before the exact date they were going to get it. If they're just deciding to just drop Union Cross, multiplayer and everything out of the blue on us, that's fine too. It would just be nice to, well, no, you know, whatever, I guess. Whatever. They can do whatever they want with their game. A little bit of planning would help a lot of people, I think, especially in the sense of saving up jewels or not. If we wake up Thursday and Friday and this is the only thing we have, again, it might be fine. It might be great. We'll have to see what she comes out as. But the very last thing I want to talk about, sorry about that. The very last thing I want to talk about is, I know a lot of people are saying, even with her, don't pull. Don't pull and wait until we get 0.2 Kairi. 0.2 Kairi. Again, different medal, different things that they do, different game. That is an entirely different game. Union Cross is a completely different dynamic meta. It's going to be a completely different game. Are you going to see me pull nonstop for this medal? No. I have a limited amount of jewels. Are you guys going to see me try and get this medal? If it falls under the classifications I said before, I think she would be really great. I would love to pull until I could guilt her. If she's like a 5 Mercy pull, you could probably see me do 10 pulls. And especially if she comes orbed again too. But we don't know. We don't know, guys. We have no clue. There's so many unanswered questions right now. But I did want to talk right now, and I did want to have this video so that I can refer to it in the future when we actually have it and be like, okay, we know what she does in JP. We know who she kind of compares to in our current game, and the reasons why I would or would not pull. In conclusion, I really would love to see her come exactly the way she was in JP. I think that there's no reason to really nerf her. Yes, she's an extremely powerful medal. Yes, she will radically change SP management in Coliseum, in the Proud Plus quest. She's going to radically change so many aspects of the game in that sense, if she comes exactly the same. But I think at the progression where we are right now, and that the fact that we're seeing such expensive medals as well that are very hard hitting, I think it justifies. I think that does justify using the medal, which means, which means if we do get her exactly the same, you could actually even continue, or the people who do, you could actually use Illustrated Belle and Beast without an SP1 or SP2. That's pretty awesome. It's a lot of different things that we have to see, and it's a really awesome thing. But anyway, just wanted to talk about this with you guys. These are my thoughts about the medal. This is my hope for the medal. I completely hope she's exactly the same. I 100% hope she's exactly the same. We will see in about 48 hours. 48 hours? Yeah, well, a little more than that. In 2 days. We'll see in 2 days, especially when we get the tweet. Actually, no, less than that. Wow, we hopefully will get a tweet Wednesday night, seeing what kind of a banner she comes in. And also Thursday is going to be 0 day, day 0 of the countdown. It's possible we may see much more information about that. So, get ready, guys. Hold on. I have a feeling it's going to be a very interesting both Thursday and entire weekend. I'm excited to see what's going to happen. I have some stuff planned for my streams. Thank you very much for watching, guys. As always, I am DUJ2. If I missed anything, please let me know down below in the comments. And I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens here. Thanks a lot, guys. And I'll see you guys next time. See ya.